you can just imagine Satan coming as God, can't you? I'll make a bid for this. I shall be a corrupt God, creator of all that is. I'll present myself as such, and only the elect would know otherwise. But I'll do my best to test them. But you get carried away, don't you, when your ego is big as Satan has to have. It destroys the whole earth, apart from 8 people. 8's a tricky number. Much struggle there. And then he advises Joshua, choose you this day whom you will serve. It's not Jesus standing before him, it's this angel of the Lord. And Joshua, quite reasonably, is terrified when he sees him. This is not what you expect of a loving God. It's not the Jesus God, is it? I mean, it's easy for us. We can see in hindsight. We've got a notion of the Jesus story. It's not so easy if you're St. Paul or Joshua. And what's the reality of this offer? You can obey me, or, as you can see, I'm awesomely powerful and you'll regret it. Is this the Jesus God? No, Marcion's got it right, hasn't he? It's what they call a demiurge. I'm not quite sure what the word is. You could check it, couldn't we? But something that's a very doubtful form of God. Gets more doubtful when it comes to, his followers off onto the Crusades to conquer the Holy Land. And, witch finder general, getting rid of all the evil witches, drowning them, burning them. Actually, I don't think we burn witches, do we? We only burn heretics. Martyrs. Oh, yes. Martyrs we burn, witches we drown. Yes, I mean, everything in its place. And I mean, we don't want to dwell on evil, do we? Change course, Marshal. Right, okay. Let me review. Yes, if Marcion wrote the Gospel, I reckon he got it right. Paul's Gnostic, he doesn't have the story. Yet still he sees the truth of things. He really has seen the light. And he's going to try and justify it with all the Old Testament. Oh my goodness, no. Marcion gives a New Testament. A testament to the goodness of God in the form of his message to us. I'm not this fearful, ghastly, frightening Old Testament God, the one that's echoed in Revelation. I'm your dad. Loving, heavenly, all-powerful dad. All-powerful, all-loving. And I love you. It's a New Testament, not an old one. It's because the old was in no way enough, as you can see from the history of those that have followed it. And a religion that holds on to its foundations in the old will simply keep splitting under new wineskin. Under new wine. So Marcion gives a new wineskin. And, okay, it's not perfect. Especially when it's been doctored by the old church. Oh my goodness. Literalists who despised gnosis, Gnosticism, took a story and made it historic, fact, dressed it better that it would be a good historicity from the point of view of the emperor and the church to be, and a fine history that church has made of it. We could start by discussing how best we could treat our slaves and what women's role should be in the church. We could go on to decide what to do with heretics and witches and Jews. Well, if it comes to that, anyone who doesn't agree with us. There's no point you trying to work out what the future is from the prophecies of Revelation. It's a story of the past. It tells you what the Dark Ages were, which days of the week. Ask my friend Graham. He's sorted it all out. Well, it's his view of sorting it out. Anyway, fascinating. I can't say I've mastered it yet, but he obviously seems to have done it. But that's not the point here, is it? You shouldn't drink old wine. It's alcoholic. And you're not ready for it. You should drink new, freshly pressed grape juice. Much safer. The new wine of the New Testament is not the old wine of the Old Testament in a different coat. It's the story of Jesus. And it's not a mystery cult adapted for Judaism. That's the Christian religion's version of the Jesus story. The story that the Jesus story is far older than anything the world has ever written. It's that your head of the family is dad. And in early community was family, tribal. The elders who truly had the welfare of the whole community at heart. Because they are the children of the oldest members. Your God can only be your perfect heavenly dad who loves and cares for you. Well, the elders, the elder ladies, the elder men, because they are the fathers of the rest of the family, extended, but probably with a common ancestry. Well, possibly. More likely the further back you go, things mixed less. More isolated, fewer people. I don't know. But do you see, the oldest of stories, we can imagine at least, would be of families surviving in a pretty depopulated world the earlier you go back. Genesis story preserves some of this, doesn't it? I mean, there's, in a sense, only a couple, Adam and Eve, his wife. And they have children, and all the rest of the planet apparently has evolved from them. That's their way of looking at it. But it's a way of saying it again, isn't it? You've got to hit it as a Gnostic. The Jewish Gnostics of Egypt, Alexandria in particular, they interpreted what we call the Old Testament, especially the Pentateuch, in a Gnostic way. You could say this is the Greek contribution effect. You know, Alexander conquering what he felt was the known world. Jesus' story is written as a true Gnostic, edited as a true fundamentalist. Well, not true. More of a literalist. Nothing fundamentalist about literalism. It's fundamentally flawed. I know, look, I just seem to treat it with contempt, but that's with hindsight. Anyone can treat a thing with contempt in hindsight. Not so easy to get it right in foresight, especially when you're a child, which we all are. Well, thank you, Heavenly Dad.